What's up everyone? My name's Oscar Moneyball. Just wanted to make this quick video to sort of explain myself and discuss what I think about Cavan Sullivan. Obviously, you know, he's a young kid. It's very early to talk about a kid, right? However, my job as a scout, especially for the club that I work for, I tend to see a lot of talent. I see talent from 10 years old all the way to under 21, and it's important to discuss how a player performs and the potential that we see in specific players, right? My job is to give a grade even to 10-year-olds, to 12-year-olds, you know, 14, 15, 16, 17, and it's my job to help US soccer. That's sort of my role for the club that I work for. It's my role to improve US soccer and provide my insight to a team that's on the other side of the river, as we like to call it, other side of the pond over in Europe. So I wanted to discuss this real quick. I wanted to talk about a little bit of the controversy that's going on in one of my posts that I made about Cavan Sullivan a couple months ago. Again, never spoke bad about him. My job is not to speak bad about anybody. Instead, it's to point out the strengths and the weaknesses and how that transitions into a game. So in a game, there's 4 things that you're doing at all times. Either you're attacking, you're transitioning from attack to defense, you're defending, or you're transitioning from defense to attacking, and it's non-stop, right? So how does a kid, or how does a youth player, how does an adult perform when he attacks? How does he transition from attack to defend? How does he defend? Or how does that player transition from defense to offense? 4 stages of the game. In those, we give them grades and we talk about each one of their weaknesses in all 4 of those aspects. Now, the most important aspects of the game are not attacking and defending. It's transitioning from attacking to defending and transitioning from defending to attacking. Those are the most important because the players don't tend to focus on that. They think that, oh, either I'm just an offensive player, all I do is attack, or hey, I'm a defensive player and all I do is defend. No, it's how you do it and how you work on those transitions. Moving on, let's discuss a little bit about who Cavan is, right? How I would go about this scouting report. So this is information that's on Transfer Market. Let's move over here. Alright, so according to the Transfer Market, we see here that Cavan is an attacking midfielder born in September 28, 2009. So he's currently 14 years old. He plays for Philadelphia Union, number 2, who plays in MLS Next Pro. He's participated for the US national team at the youth level and has won, I believe, what is it here? I don't know what this tournament is. I think it's the CONCACAF tournament. This is the only game we have available in our platform of him at the moment. But I've seen him play in other matches. Never really attended one in person, but there's a lot of comps of his online. So he's an attacking midfielder who plays on the left side or can play as a second striker. Where would that be? So he plays on the left side over here. In Union, I've seen him play on the right. I think he plays either or, left or right. He's a very diverse player where he can, if he's playing on his strong side, he can take the ball in the width, and his job is to cross this in. If he's playing on his left, I'm assuming he's a right-footed player. Does that say here? No, he's a left-footed player. So his job is to play from the left, cross it in using his left foot. However, he tends to dribble into the center like this. He tends to do this movement into playing inside instead of taking the width. He's very dynamic. He can do both. However, from the comps I've seen, he feels more comfortable making these types of runs. Anyways, let's move forward. So, let's watch this video and see what his responsibilities are. Again, let me just make sure this is working. Perfect. Alright, so this is a small, very short video of his professional debut against New England #2. Let's watch this video and see what we can gather here. Oh, sorry, let's just mute that. So there he is. Good press, made contact. Transition from defense to attacking very well. Found a channel. Fortunately, the ball didn't go to him. There he is, progressing the ball forward, scanning. There he is, carrying the ball. From progression to finish zone. Lacked a little bit there. Now, what do I think he lacked there? He has a pace. Let's pause the ball. Let's pause the video there. He has a pace, and he doesn't. What I noticed is that he keeps that same pace no matter what. He doesn't do. He doesn't change his speed, which is very important to be able to have that composure. For example, okay, there, good dribble. Unfortunately, there, no one's checking in on this play, so everyone's assuming he's going to be taking this space here, right? Which he does. Now, he's already ahead of the player. He didn't need to cut. He still had a lot of space. He could give the team some depth. However, he also knows, because he scanned ahead of time, that he also has this pocket that he wants to exploit. He's a left footer, so he knows if he continues down this path, his options are going to be limited because he's a left footed player. Decent cut, heavy touch. However, he's outnumbered. He's outnumbered by 3 players. No one's supporting, right? Because everyone was expecting him to take this route. Loses the ball, challenges it, and continues to press right away. Philadelphia recognized that he was outnumbered and that he was going to lose the ball, and the Union did really well in supporting him in that transition from attacking to defending. Very, very quick. Check that out. Good job. Now, what do I think he needed there? I think he needed some more technical awareness there, but this is something that I pointed out in my tweet that I'll kind of share with you guys, and maybe you guys can let me know if you guys agree or not. So that composure, right, that tactical awareness of what the play should develop. Let's watch it again. We don't see the rest of this clip, but you could tell with this body language that after he lost that ball and he did that press right there, he gives up. These 2 players continue their run. See? Just for that split second. So his transition from attacking to defense is slow. Not slow, but it's... what I think about being in his position, it's like almost like, I lost the ball. He feels that pressure on him, that he's like, damn, I lost the ball. He's hard on himself, but he improves, right? Alright, here, this is one of the best things this is possibly one of his strongest suits, is progressing the ball forward. So one thing I want to show here is in the build-up zones, look at where we're at. So we're at build, progress, penetrate, and finish. So in that previous play, he was here. He was in the penetrate zone. So in this zone, he needs to find a way to penetrate the defense or give a pass, you know. What I think he could have done, a good way to penetrate the defense would be he already carried the ball forward. I'm going to move this ball over here. He was here, he carried the ball, he was moving into the finish zone or penetrate. He needed to make a decision and to penetrate the defense, basically play a through ball. In this case, we had these players up here. We had a center mid over here, and I believe this guy was over here trying to do an overlap, or it could have been this guy, I'm not too sure. So he has this space here. He comes in to where he has a numerical advantage, or at least that he's trying to come in where he has a numerical advantage right here in this pocket, but the decision should be to penetrate. Now let's bring it back to this next clip, and now that we understand these zones, we can kind of pick up on this rest of the video. So in this zone, where in this next clip, we're in the progress zone where he needs to progress the ball forward into penetrating the defense. So let's see what he does. He does this really well. Has so much space. Progress, 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 progress. Let's just let it play out. Progress, progress, progress. Penetrates. This guy does his job trying to penetrate and get into the finish zone. He just progressed the ball forward. He needed to do that, and he did that really well. I think that's one of Cavan's specialties, and we'll see that throughout a lot of his highlights. He progresses the ball really well. He tends to get in this zone right here and carries the ball forward really, really well, whether he's on the left side or the right side. One thing he does really well though, when he plays on his natural zone on the left side and he comes in, that's another form of penetrating the defense. Him coming in and between lines, between the when he comes in and he breaks this line right there from the midfield to this space right there between the defenders and the midfielders, he does that very well on the left side. Let's see here. Alright, so he stays as an option, receives the ball well, good body positioning, relieves the ball. Alright, good pressure. He has to be putting some good pressure there. He's the person closest to the ball. It's an even 1v1 situation here with the extra man taking care of each other there. So he has to make that contact, which he does really well, especially him being 14, playing against a player who is probably much older than him. Did really well. Of course, he's going to get taken down, right, numerous times. He's much smaller. But these battles, having these battles day in and day out, will help him develop that strength and that one-on-one collision that he needs to work on, right? That's exactly what the Union wants from him. He won position, put the arm in. Of course, the guy's going to foul him, right? And it's smart for Cavan to fall as well. It helps him get the foul, which he does. Good pressure. Now, there wasn't much pressure to do. It was a ball that this guy lost because he lacked quality, right? But Cavan, space, this is where he's good at. He has numbers, he has options. Let's see what he does. Boom. This is an assist right here. Great finish. Now let's go back. Let's take that back a couple seconds. That press is slow, but it's fine. The play worked out really well, right? So I think he was sort of expecting him to have a bad touch by the body language that I see here. Boom, pick that up. Amazing. Good vision. And great finish. Beautiful finish. Let's let this video play out. Let's go, Cavan. Let's go, Union. That was a beautiful goal. Alright. So where are we at? We're in the progressive zone. He won a ball. He outpaced. He's really quick, right? He's really quick at winning these loose balls. Perfect. Okay. Now he's on the, I mentioned this earlier, he's on the right side. He gets the ball here, sort of. These zones can kind of tilt depending on where the away team is, or the opponents are, but usually if he's around the midfield, that's sort of a progressive zone, or if he's between the midfielders and the defenders, that's sort of the penetrate zone. So he picks it up right around here and dribbles this way. The defender there and a guy that allows him a lot of space. I think because he already did that first play and they probably know he's left footer, I believe that's why this guy gave him so much space to go forward, because he's gonna run into either the pitch ending or this guy coming in and cleaning that up. This guy is just trying to wait out that cut inside for him to maybe outbody him, or just closing him out, right? He just gives him too much space to let him progress, which gives Cavan the confidence, and he had already cut inward, so he can't make that same play. He has to go and play his right. Does really good at progressing. Really good at progressing. Now here he has to penetrate or he has to finish. The one thing I don't like here is from this play, and it's not his fault. Let's go. This is the Pep G zones, as you can see here. There's no one supporting him here in the half space. I think if Cavan would have had support in the half space by either his fullback or his center mid, either one taking this role right there, he would have had a better outcome. So eventually he gets into the zone right there, closes his angle, and there's a big gap between here and here. We can see that there. As a matter of fact, the half space is being occupied by this guy. So clearly he's outnumbered. I'm not sure where this guy's at. This guy's not in the frame. This guy's not in the frame. This is where I think Cavan, you can justify his choice here of taking this one-on-one, right? He's in a spot, he's in the box. If he gets fouled, gets the PK. Let's see how that plays out. Just this is the composure I'm talking about, right? He needs to have better decision-making skills in the final third. I can justify what he did. He could have also maybe done an early cross, right? This guy was there. Just put something in this space right there and hope for something. But he took the gamble on himself. He bet on himself and he tried something. This is what he's supposed to be doing, right? He's supposed to be using his flair, using his strengths, which he does really well. And I'll mention that again in the future, in a little bit here with my report on him. Alright, next play. Picks it up in the center zone. Okay. Checks in. Not bad. Progress. Penetrate zone. See, now he cuts in. Options. Composure. We need that composure. I know he's trying. I know he has, he's the young one. But there's also composure that we can demonstrate there. We can demonstrate some composure. Let's repeat that play again. So he has the ball in the outside channel. Okay. He has less space here to take down this width. Now he finally has someone in the half space. However, it's still not an option. I mean, if he was right footer and he was really he could have been creative and maybe just dinked a little pass forward here. He has the advantage. They closed him down. He did the right choice. He has to change it up. So he went inside. Look at all this space as well, right? Good job. Now, options. What are our options? We have the half space support that he didn't have earlier. Laying that off would be pretty good, right? He's still outnumbered. Okay, that's fine. He's an attacking player. Keep it going. He sees and reads this space really well. I feel like that maybe threw him off a little. What I mean by threw him off is threw off his balance. It eliminated the space. Maybe he tried to... It's obvious what he tried doing. He tried giving a little feint there to get rid of this mark. But he's still not getting any contact. Like, this guy is not pressing him as he should be. He has the ability to keep composure. They're giving Sullivan the time and space to do what he did. At this point, he already made his decision. I wish I could take it back like a split second. Where are we at? 145. So you can see here, I'm sure he has numbers out here. Playing this pass through right there and penetrating this way would also be really good, a good decision. I'm sure there's someone here. I'm sure he's just hungry, right? He's really hungry to prove himself. It's fine, take your shot. You're in shooting range. However, okay, let's take this out. Something that we need to talk about is, okay, so he has this support who's came in here. Let's draw these zones. So he has the ball. He committed to go forward. They gave him this space because this guy took the half space. So he dragged these guys out. This guy's in here. This guy's dragging this guy out here. This guy's over here. This guy drops here. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Close in. So these two guys. Actually, this guy dropped. These two guys are outnumbering him here. And this guy comes in. Now I'm sure, just by the way soccer is that these two guys are somewhere here. Okay. Alright, so we have these zones. What I wanted to get to in explaining was the XG zone. So no matter if this is a clean shot or not, the probability of that happening is very low. The probability of this hitting the back of the net is very low due to the XG zone. So the closer you are to the red, the higher probability it is for you to be able to score that goal. And he's outside of that range by a lot. So the best thing possible when you're explaining XG zones is to let the players know that if you're able to make a pass closer to higher XG zones, the higher the probability is for that goal to go in. Now these guys are no longer an option, as we can see here. They're block solid. This guy's doing a really good movement to check into this space here and read it out. Like I mentioned over here, I'm sure there's some guy, looks like it may even be this guy who's in here. This fullback needs to be out here, which he's not. Still, the zone's right there. This guy's checking in. If he has more composure, Cavan can make that happen, right? A good weight pass in between these two guys would give this guy so much time and space to keep the play alive. One thing that Manchester City will definitely be teaching him is sometimes you have to make the extra pass just to give your teammates enough time and space to occupy the zones that they need to. Everyone here we have half space, two people in the same half space. We have center zone. This guy's making the right movement. He needs to give himself just a second, 1 or 2 seconds to be able to read that and make that give the team the time that they need to make that play develop. This allows to the transition, so when you lose the ball, this immediately forces Philadelphia to go from attacking to defend, that transition mode. The key point is you have to keep the ball as much as possible. You have to maintain possession of the ball. You have to be able to let this play develop. That's basically what I'm trying to explain with this XG is let the play develop, take the extra touch, give yourself the extra second, have a little bit more composure, but that shot's justified. It wasn't on target, it wasn't on frame. It's like, come on, let's do something more with that. Alright, let's go. Let's let that play out. Alright, so just leave that there for a second. So what is my report on this dude? My report on this dude is scouting report based on 73 seconds. That apparently is getting a lot of hate. This video was 1 minute and 48 seconds. Cavan Sullivan, US, age 14, current grade D, potential grade C. These aren't school grades. This doesn't mean that he's a bad player. This sort of just means the transfer market value that we can see him occupying, right? An A grade would be an over $100 million transfer. Could that happen? Most definitely. It most definitely can if he continues to develop. I see him, due to the current grades, due to the current transfer markets, that a lot of these players that are from the US they cover between 10 to maybe 30 million transfer market, and I'm right on the ballpark with that transfer market there. Anyways, strengths: he's athletic, he's super athletic, he's fast, he has a lot of pace, great footwork, dribbles really well, progressing play, he progresses the play, attacking transition, he does really well from defense to offense. Weaknesses: physical strength, demonstrated that he's not going to be beating taller players. He's not going to he's not going to have more physical strength than players that are older than him, stronger than him. Even if they're the same age, he tends to have these battles where obviously someone who's running at a fast pace, any little movement or any little dink is going to get them off balance. So it's physical strength, he lacks it. Tactical awareness, he's not as aware here. He demonstrated that he's able to do it, although I don't think it's one of his strong suits. That's what I mean. It's not a strength of his. He does demonstrate the ability to. Every player has vision. You have to have that vision to make a pass, to connect with your teammates. However, he doesn't have the creativity and lacks composure in the final third to make these types of plays happen. He doesn't have the vision of, okay, if I would have dinked this ball here, we can transition the play on the other side, we can keep the play alive. We don't have to transition from A to D. And his defensive transition, I showed you guys in this video. Several times where when his team or he loses the ball, he's not quick to go back and defend. He's very quick to defend and attack, but he's not quick this way. In summary, Cavan is a young athlete with a lot of pace and great footwork. Given the space, he is able to dribble forward into dangerous areas, but lacks decision-making skills, composure in front of the goal, and vision. Under pressure or tighter spaces, he consistently loses the ball and relies heavily on his strengths to force his way through. His strengths being dribbling, footwork, pace. Cavan, being a smaller player, could benefit from linking up with his teammates. Linking up, finding these passes. I mentioned earlier how when he's progressing, he tends to not see, or his teammates are not supporting him, where he needs to be able to stop, slow down the pace of the game, and not always keep this 0 to 100 pace forward that he just tends to do. He needs to be able to be smarter with the ball. He needs to be able to slow down, scan. If he can't progress forward, which I know he's aware that he can't, because sometimes he's gonna be outnumbered, so he already has that he has that ability to understand that part of the game. However, he needs to be able to do what he does here. I think there's a play here where he needs to be able to do this at all times. Just play the ball. Just play the ball, buddy. It doesn't always have to be forward. Or using, linking up with his teammates, or using his strengths to create space for players in higher XG areas. Wow. I didn't even read this until just now. It's been a while. But everything I'm talking about here is we need to find players that are in a higher XG. Cavan's role is not, at least yet, hasn't been put in positions where he's here, in front of the goal. So he needs to find players that are in front of the goal and put them in situations where they score. His transition from defense to attack is great, however, he does not return to defend. His current grade is D with the potential to develop into a C. D, obviously he's less than 10 million euros or dollars, however you want to, whatever currency you want to talk about. His current grade is a D. He's not being sold, and I believe here, I saw somewhere where his transfer is for 2 million, or rumored, right there. Cavan Sullivan, 14-year-old American Diamond, Man City will pay 2 million for. So, was I wrong? No. With the potential to develop into a C, somebody who I can see being between 10,000 to 30,000. I mean, not thousand, sorry, 15 million to 30 million euros. Yeah, that'd be a great bargain for Man City, right? Philadelphia Union is keeping a percentage of his contract for a future transfer. If Man City is able to get this guy developed, and in the next couple of years, Cavan is able to turn these into strengths, he can even be sold for more, right? And even if he doesn't fully develop into that, as long as he can be sold for 15 million, 20 million to any team in Europe, I think that's what Man City wants. If that does happen, Philadelphia will make a lot of money. So it's a win-win for everybody. I think there's multiple reports on how that's a really good deal for Philadelphia Union. Hold on. It's a really good deal for Philadelphia Union. It's a really solid deal for Man City. They're buying a really good player at a really low cost with a lot of potential, and this can even go higher and higher if Cavan starts to put in those performances in Man City, is able to get into the Man City's first squad, is able to get a debut, sort of like Oscar Bob. I'm sure if Man City were to sell Oscar Bob, or what's this other kid? He plays in the left back. I forgot his name. But if they're able to get into the starting, the starting positions, or even playing Champions League at a very young age, or plays in the EPL at a very young age and tends to do very well, I'm sure that especially with him, with Cavan being an attacking player, attacking players tend to go for a lot of money. So yeah, this could definitely go higher. Although, look, the potential to develop into a C means that in the first person to take him to market would make a lot of money, and that would be there. And then he'll probably, I mean, even Pulisic hasn't broken that demographic of being a C grade. He's still, I'm not even sure what his value is, but he needs to be higher up there for him to get a higher grade, and it could happen. It could happen, but there's a lot of things that could happen from here to there. I hope that this explains everything that you guys see, and I mean, it isn't a long video, but you can see exactly what I'm talking about there. And this tweet was back in December, and we are in March, coming to April, so this is 4 months later, and we still see the same. Not saying that Cavan should be a much different player by now, but he needs to, and I'm sure he's working on it. I'm sure he is, and I'm not bashing on a kid. I'm not talking down on a 14-year-old kid. And I know most of you guys probably, the realistic thing is that, hey, we got to give him time. We can't hype him up. And I agree. However, in my job, I am scouting, and I am trying to be aware of what even younger players are doing and how they're developing and what their potential is. I see a lot of games from my assignments where I have to be scouting players from Australia at 10 years old, Denmark, Sweden, Uzbekistan. There's a lot of players out there in the world, and it is my job at whatever age my assignment is to create a positive report. I don't believe I mentioned anything negative about Cavan. I don't believe I lied. I know a lot of this stuff is subjective, and he is a really great talent, and like I mentioned in the beginning of this video, literally my job description is to help improve US soccer talent, get into these types of positions where they're getting scouted and improving US soccer. So yeah, that's my video. Thank you guys for watching, and let me know in the comments if you think anything different, if this is still really ridiculous, or just your overall thoughts on this video, on Cavan, on my report, or what you think his grade is. If you are a scout, let me know what you would rank him as. He probably is one of the best talents we have at the moment. There's a lot of great talent in the US at the moment, so we'll just let it develop, let these guys grow, right? It's still really early to call it. We don't want to be putting so much pressure on these kids. Right now, this is just for entertainment and to kind of, I guess, explain what I'm trying to say online, because I'm getting a lot of feedback that tends to be a little negative from people that aren't understanding what I'm trying to say. Just trying to show it to you guys a little bit better. Anyways, you guys take care and have a good weekend. Have a good rest of your day. Enjoy some soccer matches this weekend. Peace out.